Alright, what's going on everybody? Anime Rambo back with another episode. Today we'll be discussing Kaiju No.8 Chapter 75. What is going on? Well, if you remember where we left off from the last chapter, or over the last several chapters, Kaiju No.9 has finally made his first wave of attacks against the Defense Force in all of Japan. As a response, the Defense Force released all 16 of their divisions. We actually found out recently that they have 16 total divisions. And finding out this chapter that after the Vice Captain Hoshina managed to take down the airport and liberate the airport, there is only one more area and two more divisions that have a kaiju threat that needs to be dealt with. However, I would be remiss to not acknowledge the fact that I believe that Kaiju number 10 did manage to do enough in order to keep him from being decommissioned. However, he does still have this urge to just fight anybody and everybody, right? It's not just kaijus that he wants to fight. He just wants to fight strong opponents in general. So even in this chapter, he was like, okay, cool, we finished the kaiju, let's attack the officers next. And the vice captain has to be like, look, that's not what we do. We can't attack our own team. It's not gonna happen. And then you get this little bit of paneling where you see Kaiju number 10, because he can only control his tail, right? All of his personality and everything that he has in terms of combat related ability exists only within his tail. So when the vice captain's like, no, we're not gonna attack officers, number 10 is like, well, we're not moving until I fight somebody else. So he just lodges his tail in the ground and he's not able to move. This is where we get the revelation about the whole epithet that the vice captain and Kaiju number 10 have around the other defense force bases. How he and number 10 suit are called the comedy duo suit. Terrible name, but you know, it is what it is. So like I said, so after everything was cleared and the scientist lady gives a report to the current director general of the defense force, we get that whole revelation that all the other defense forces are pretty much clear except for this one. That's the unit that's in the Ozumi area. And that's the area that's being handled by the Shinonomi platoon and the Tachibana platoon, okay? Also, our boy Kafka is with this platoon. Originally, I thought he was with the 1st division, but we didn't see him then with Kikoru. So I thought he was with the 4th division with Iharu and Reno. But he is not with them at all. We don't even know what the numbered division is for this current platoon that he is there. The only thing that we really know is that they have such a massive threat looming over them. You wonder how they're going to deal with the situation, because it pops up that that whole platoon in the Ozumi area, they have 6 giant class kaijus that are there, more than anything that has appeared in the past before. And Kafka, we have some dialogue because they don't know how they're going to deal with the situation. So Kafka asks, hey, do you want me to transform and deal with these giant class kaijus? And Shinonomi at the time was like, no, you can't transform because we need you to back up the rear guard in case any of the kaijus start to flood behind us, and we don't want to get pinched into this situation because people could lose their lives. That's not what we want to happen. So he, Kafka, I'm talking about, cannot transform at all. This also goes into the fact that she says, look, Kaiju number 9 was able to find you when you partially transformed way back when. We don't want him to know where we are, even though, you know, he's pretty much responsible for this entire attack. The assumption is that Kaiju number 9 does not know where Kafka is. The assumption is also that Kaiju number 9 wants Kafka for whatever reason, so they think that if he transforms, then number 9 is going to inevitably come to where they are, and you're going to have a whole new problem on their hand. So with that being said, how is it that they're going to deal with this entire threat? Because it's a little bit more problematic than the other areas. The other areas were essentially cleared of civilians and they just had to fight, but there is no concrete evidence on that. But this particular area in the Ozumi ward is packed with people who are trying to drive on this highway to get out of whatever area they are in because of the kaiju threat. You actually see in this chapter kaijus just rattling off massive waves of explosions that they're able to generate from their body and devastating large areas around them. So they're blowing up buildings. You got to think the debris is falling. You don't know if there's people inside of those buildings, and there's clearly people on the highway underneath it. So this is way more problematic than what is actually being called for. I was actually thinking while I was reading this, Shinonomi is like, okay, you're putting a lot of civilians' lives in danger, preventing Kafka from transforming and beginning to handle these situations before, he blew up a fucking building, but that wasn't the case. So now the problem isn't just with eliminating the kaijus, but eliminating them in such a timely manner that allows the maximum amount of civilians to leave with their lives. So with this whole entire situation seeming impossible, they're like, what are we gonna do? Then that's when a voice comes over the radio. The voice is Mina, the captain of the 3rd division, and she is attached to this monumental railgun, okay? She begins rattling off shots from more than 20 kilometers away, all right? Shinonomi was like, wait, you're coming from what direction? You're where, Mina? Well, that can't be the case, because if you're there, that means you're at the Tachikawa base. And as soon as she says that, railgun shot over her head. Boom. One shots, one superclass kaiju down. Another shot. Boom. Rattles it off. Doom. Two superclass kaijus down. This entire time, Mina isn't even breathing heavy. Two shots from her from this massive railgun is easy work for her. It's slight work for Mina, okay? And then even after that, even after she's launched two shots, she's like, okay, load up the gun. Give me another shot. What are you doing? Let's go. There's 6 of them. I've only killed 2. There's 4 more left. The fact that she's able to do this, I don't know why there was ever a problem to begin with, and it actually gives a little bit more credence to Mina as a captain, because we saw her previously, she was on the ground fighting, okay? You remember that? Just a couple chapters ago, she was on the ground fighting. Now she's at the Tachikawa base, hooked up to this railgun. And what I found interesting about this railgun is that you see across the screen of it, it says Izumo Technology. I'm not looking at the manga panel, but it says Izumo, right? And that goes back to Haruchi, who is one of the rookies that came in with Kafka, Kikoro, Reno, Iharu. He's one of the rookies, right? We haven't seen him and like 3 other rookies in some time now, but I find it very interesting, and I am actually kind of pleased that you have a reference to his family, because if you remember, what we found out about Izumo is that his family is responsible for developing all of the Defense Force technology that you see, all of the weapons, I could imagine the suits as well. His family runs all of that technology division, and I couldn't help but think as I was reading this, I was like, wow, Kaiju number 9's plan of attack is to take out Japan's infrastructure, right? He went after food, he went after water, he went after oil, he went after the railroads, he went after the radio towers, he went after all of this stuff that's pivotal to the survival of these people, and especially the Defense Force. Well, the Defense Force is causing so much problems for them. I had flashbacks to the 4th grade Shinobi War with Naruto, when you had the Ten Tails Jinchuriki take out the the Joint Force Shinobi Alliance's like communication, like Ino's father and Shikamaru's father, all of them, they just got blown off the fucking face of the earth, because Madara and Obito at the time understood that, okay, having this level of communication and access to these people are causing more problems than what they need to be. We need to take out the help. We need to take out the support. And you have Haruchi's family here being directly responsible for the creation of the numbered weapons that are being used to combat against Kaiju number 9. So if they're blowing up buildings and stuff like that, all these skyscrapers, I can only worry that Izumo and the main company's building will be under threat in the near future. Who knows? That's just a little theory that I got. But regardless of that, she rattles off all of these shots. She drops the super kaijus from 6 to 4. And basically with this last little push, they should be moving towards clearing out the area. Again, they don't want Kafka to transform, because Kaiju number 9 can just hone in and sync to that. But you gotta think, if he can do that with Kaiju number 9 and Kafka, that homing beacon type shit, he should be able to do that with any kaiju, especially a kaiju that he created. Now, am I saying that he created Kaiju number 9? Well, it's possible. I mean, you can't take that off the list. He's the only creature that is creating kaiju, so it would not be far-fetched to think that he is also creating the real Dai Kaijus, right? The numbered weapons, the Kaiju number 9, he created number 10. It's not that far-fetched to think about. So that's something to look out for in the future, right? With that being said, you look at Mina and you look at her railgun, and I'm going to call it her railgun because if you look at the progression of Mina and her weapons, she seems to just be a gun user of some kind. She doesn't seem like she's going to have swords, an axe, a mace, not even a bayonet, right? She just works with guns. And I actually have to mention this. She is the Defense Force's greatest long-range giant kaiju slayer. All right, she has the highest stats for long-range target marking, and she has, I guess, the highest count for all giant kaijus or super class kaiju threats, and she is just phenomenal at what it is that she does. So when I look at her weaponry, I can only assume, much like with Captain Arumi's bayonet, his bayonet is his main weapon. When he gets cleared to use numbered weapon 1 as a suit, they then outfit his bayonet to be more in tune and compatible with the powers that he's going to display. So for Mina, we see her using these massive Gatling guns. We see her using the giant railgun. And I can only think, whatever numbered weapon that she has at her disposal, whether it be like 3 or 4, well, not 4, but if she has like 3 or 5 or something like that, they're going to outfit her railgun. They're going to outfit her massive machine gun to embody what it is that the numbered weapon or numbered kaiju that she has, it's going to be able to display that power to the utmost degree. So I'm convinced that the power that she's showing right now, being able to release 96% or some crazy shit like that and not break a sweat, that's only the tip. That's not even the tip of the iceberg at this point. It also brings into question, okay, well, if she is the strongest long-range shooter, who is the shortest short-range shooter? Who is the strongest hitter? I would imagine that'd be Kikoru, considering she has the axe. I don't even know what category Narumi factors into, but then you also have to throw in Vice Captain Hoshina into the numbered weapon crew. You cannot forget the captain of the 2nd Division and of the 4th Division, because we've seen them as well. I think the 2nd Division captain actually pops up at the very end of this chapter. You don't get to see what his numbered weapon is. You don't get to see him fight at all. You would imagine that over the course of this first attack, you would see more debuts of numbered weapon suits, especially with them saying that they've scattered all the numbered weapon suits out, or they were trying to scatter the weapons out to see what it is that they want to do in order to prepare for Kaiju number 9's attack. In my opinion, they handled the whole threat, but we don't know the extent of the damage. And in my opinion, they have also like really dropped the ball with trying to prevent most of the damage, if not all of the damage. They could have been more proactive. They're still reactionary, but we're going to see in the upcoming chapters what it is that's going on. I think I've rambled on long enough. If you made it to the end, thank you. If you are new, go plus ultra and smash that subscribe button. Let me know you rock with the content that I put out on the channel. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment on the video your thoughts about what you think is going on, how you like this, what is it, what numbered weapon kaiju do you see Mina actually having? Do you think it's going to be a straight 1-for-1? Do you think she's going to have numbered weapon 3? Do you think she's going to have numbered weapon 5? She could also have 7 or 8. There's so many different possibilities as to the numbered weapon kaiju that she has at her disposal. We've already seen 1. We've already seen 2. You have Reno, who has numbered weapon 6, and then you have Kikoru, who has numbered weapon 4. There's a lot of people that are taking up numbered weapons in all of these suits, and of course you have the Vice Captain Hoshina with numbered weapon 10, but that's brand new off rip. So you let me know down in the comment section what you think is going on. I will keep the content coming frequently as humanly possible, and I'm out.